Yeah, good morning, guys. So let's get started. So let's quickly discuss about what we have learned yesterday. So can someone tell me what is the difference between a skip method and limit method?
So whenever we are going to have a particular record, if we list consists of so many records, we want to get something 5 or 10 records. The limit method will give you, if you pass that double value as 5, we can get the 5 records. And if we go for that skip method, if we keep it also will take a double. If we give input as something double, it can skip the records up to from first to whatever the number that we have given.
One small correction. So that skip and limit method will take the long as an argument, not double. Okay. So whatever we mention in the limit method, it will limit the output. When I say limit the output from 0th position to whatever the mentioned position, it will print the output. Remaining, it will ignore. So what the skip method will do, as the name itself is telling skip, whatever number that you mentioned from 0th element to that position, it will skip the elements. Okay, basically this can be used to perform the first highest salary, second highest salary, third highest, or I want the fourth, fifth, sixth highest salaries. At that time, on top of the sort method, you need to use this one. Okay, so we have seen the program to get the second highest salary, second smallest salary, first highest salary, third highest salary, right? Yesterday. And post that we looked at the another method called flat map. So what is the difference between a map and a flat map?
Map is just one-to-one mapping, but flat map is one-to-many.
Yeah. So if I have to explain that, then what you need to do, you take this kind of a list and then this one, then you can, this is how you can execute. Right? So instead of just after selling that map is one-to-one, flat map is one-to-many, you take this example and explain. And apart from this, I have mentioned some notes also in the document, whatever I have shared, Java 8 notes. Just go through it. Okay. So this is what we have seen yesterday. And we have seen about the optional class also. Can someone tell me how can I create a optional object?
Using static factory methods like off nullable.
Okay. What is the difference between my off method and off nullable method?
Off nullables, it will throw an exception if there is no values. I mean null. Whereas off nullables can accept null values also.
Yeah. So off nullable can take the null value, and if the how can I check whether the optional, see, whenever can I return the optional as a return type for my method?
Yes.
Yeah. So once the method returns optional object, how to check whether the optional object is null or not?
Is present in the method.
Yeah.
Is present.
Yeah. And then how to get the value?
Dot get
It
Get
will
method. Yeah.
no such element, but we can avoid it using is present.
Is present. Okay. There is another method called if present. If present is taking a predicate. Based on the condition, it will check it. Okay. Now, how can I create an object of optional class? Can I call the optional OP equal to new optional?
No, sir, we can't.
Why?
it's having private constructor.
Yeah. Optional class is final. You cannot inherit it. Optional class is having a private constructor, so that you cannot call outside of it. Correct? So what is the purpose of having the optional class?
To avoid the null pointer exception.
Yeah. So that means like to get rid of the null pointer exception, we need to call. So can you call the get method directly? Is it a right practice?
No, sir.
No.
It's null.
Yeah. If you call the get method again, though you are using a optional, there may be a possibility of getting a null pointer exception. No such element. Not null pointer. No such element.
No such element.
But still, that is also an exception, right? Just to avoid, then you have to make use of the is present method, if present method. Then you have to write your code. Okay. So this is what we have learned yesterday. Does anyone has any doubts? Okay, I take it as a no questions. So today we are going to look at local date time. So in the Java 8, so what is the new package that have been introduced so far in the Java 8, whatever you know?
Java.util function.
Okay. What else?
Java.util.stream.
Okay. So you have seen java.util.function and java.util.stream. Okay. Similarly, so in the time package, java.time. Okay. So now I think this time package itself is a new package, java.time. So I hope this is not present before 1.8. Java.time is a new package. In this one, you can see local date. There is one class. Let me show you guys. See, local date is a class. Local date time is also a class. Local time is also a class. So 3 classes have been introduced called local date time, local time. Okay. Now, why are we using this one? Because so without Java 8, getting a date object or converting the string into a date, is it easy or difficult?
Yeah, somewhat difficult, sir. Yeah.
So you need to sometimes you need to use a java.util.calendar, or sometimes you need to use a simple date formatter, correct? Okay. So if you want to get the current system time, then you have to write 3 to 4 lines of code, like sometimes system.format, like formatter, and then java.util.calendar. And you do not know what kind of a format you are getting. So little difficult, like I would not say it is not impossible, but it is little difficult to remember the code, correct? But so from the Java 8 onwards, by using this call local date method, local date means it will give you only date. Local time means it will give you the time. Local date time means it's a timestamp. That means it will give you the date followed by the time. Okay. Now, so here, if you look at this one local date, let us come and see whether can I create an object. Just a minute, guys. I'm just looking for a constructor. Okay. Yeah. So here, like if you look at line number 469, what does it mean?
Yeah, parameterized constructor.
And what kind of a constructor it is?
Private.
So can you create an object now?
No, sir.
No, we
That
can't do
means like you cannot even you cannot call the constructor to create an object. Okay. Now, how can I see if I want to know current system date, how can I do? So I know that this class is present. Let me quickly create local date time one class. Local date example. Okay. Local date. I have a class. Okay. Now there is a hope you guys are able to see 192 line number. There is a method called now. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So now let us call this now method. Local date, what kind of a method it is? Static method. How can I call a static method? Class name followed by method name. Local date dot now. What it is returning? It is returning a local date object. Local date. Okay, D. Let me print this D. What it is? Sys out. D. Let's run the program quickly. And what am I getting? Today's date, right? See, 27/9/2022. 22,
Yes.
that means year, month, and date. So getting current system date is it easy or not? Simply calling the local date dot time, right? How it is easy? Is it difficult or difficult? Now let us get the time also. Local time. In order to get the time, local time, there is a class. So local time is also having a private constructor. Okay. Now I cannot create an object. So there is a method called now. So if you look at the same thing, there is a method called now. By calling this now method, you can get the current local time. Okay, let us look at. Now, instead of taking a local variable, what I'm doing is I will just do the sysout. Import is missing, so done. Okay, now let's run the program. See, are you getting the time? Milliseconds also it is giving. Currently, what is the time? 9:13. This is hours and minutes. And what is this 03? Seconds. And what is this? Milliseconds. That means, am I getting only time also? Yes. Now I want both time and then date. Then I should go for local date time dot now. Okay, done. See, am I getting that date time also? Look at here. Month, sorry, year, month, date, followed by 9:13:32. That means 9 hours, 13 minutes, 32 seconds. So with this Java 8, in order to get a current date or current time or current date and time, it is just one line of code. Is it easy, guys, or difficult?
Easy.
Yeah. So by calling the now method, so we can get the local time or local date and local date time. Now, without Java 8, can you guys tell me, I have a somehow I got the current date. I want to remove, I want to deduct 31 days. How do you do? The current date is 27. Leave about the time. I'm not bothered about the time. Okay. Now I want to minus the 31 days. From the given date, today's date is 27th September 2022. 31 days, what is 31 days back? What is the date? That means I want to minus 31 days from this given date, today's date. How can I do? At the time, you need to check. First of all, whenever you need to use a calendar day, java.util.calendar, and then work on it. And then that time also, some months will have the 31 days, some months will have 30 days. So you need to be little careful. Yes or no? Tell me yes, no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but let us look at this one, a local date class. Are you able to see one method called plus days?
Yes.
Yes.
So what is this an instance method or a static method?
Instance method.
Now I need to create an object and then call it, correct?
Yes.
So see here, local date time. This is, can I say that D is an object?
Yes.
Now on top of this D, how many days I want to do? Minus, I want to do minus, okay? So here, let us take, for example, I want to add 31 days, okay? For time being, I'm taking a plus, okay, for time being. I will explain the minus also, but time being, I'm taking plus. If I do, if I want to do, I can, there may be a scenario of how you want to add days, you want to add months, you want to add weeks, you want to add years also, correct? Whichever you want to add, you can take it. Plus you want to add days, then you just mention 31, okay? Now automatically it will give you, let us do sysout. It is giving a local date. So what it is returning? It will return a date object, right? So plus 31. So just run the program. Plus days. See, 1028. After adding the 31 days, your date will be 1028. Okay. Now I want to do minus. So can I say when I want to do minus in the plus days, if I put minus 31, can I say that also will work? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Minus 31, you just do. It will go back. It will go back to the August. See, August 27th, correct? Now, so instead you don't want to do minus also, okay? Then there is another method called do dot minus. See here, minus, which is taking a days, months, weeks, years. Hope you're able to understand. So deducting a days or getting a days, see, it doesn't matter about a leap year and all, it will take care of everything, okay? So if you want to deduct some days, if you want to get some, what you call, addition, like you want to add some years, you want to add some months and all. So generally what happens is in the project, whenever someone provides the date of birth, so sometimes you need to add a validation, correct? If the person is more than 18 years old, then only you need to allow him. So in order to do that validation, so you will get the date of birth from the UI. So from by getting the date of birth, you need to check, right, whether this is 18 years or not, correct? So what you can do, current date minus and see date of birth, current date minus date of birth. If it is giving 18 years, the duration, then you can say that it is a valid. So if you want to get a difference between 2 days or 2 date objects or 2 time objects and all, then we have an object called as duration. So there is another thing called as a duration. Are you able to see one thing called duration class? See, duration class, by using a duration, you can easily get the duration of 2 hours or 2 days or something. Okay. Now, okay, before going to this duration, now you don't want the current time. Okay. You wanted to create a date object by passing the date. How can I do? Before Java 8, I want to create a date object. And I don't want current date. Yeah, I want to create a date object by passing the date, any month, any year. How can I do?
A class name by name date itself. No?
Yeah, date. There is the see whenever you are calling the date class. So what you need to pass? You need to call the constructor, etc. Correct?
Yes.
So that means like that is also it is taking some time format in the milliseconds and all. Okay. Now in this one, in the local date time, there is a method called off. Let us look at that method. So there is a method called off. Yeah. Look at here, local date off. So what is the first parameter? You are passing the date parameter, month parameter, and a year parameter. By passing whatever the values that you pass, you can create a date object. That means, for example, I want to create a date. I want to create 31st August 2022. These are the details, data that is I'm getting from the UI. Okay, I want to create a data object from this one. Then what I will do? Local date dot off. So here, how many overloaded methods are there? 2 overloaded methods, correct? So the second, what is the difference between a first and second? It is taking a month and int. So let us take first one. So first one is year 2022. Second object is month. Month is 8. And third object is 31. So here in this one, what is this 8? 8 is a number that denotes the August month. But I don't want to put 8, 9 or something. I do not know. I want to put month. So what I will do? August, correct? August I'll put. Okay, now what this method is returning off method. Look at here. What is the return type of off method? Local date. Now it will give you local date object. Local date D1. Okay, done. Done. Now let us do sysout D1. See, D1 is nothing but 831. It's a date object. So that means whatever the data I want to pass it, I can pass it and I create a date object by using calling the off method. If you want to know if you want to pass the method month number, you can pass it, or you can pass the month name as well. Okay. Now, so I have what is D object? It's a current date. What is the D1 object? 31. Now, if you have 2 date objects, I have 2 date objects. Okay. Now I want to know generally in the interview they might be asking. So one day D is nothing but 27/09/2022. Okay. And D1 is 31 August 2022. I want to know the difference in days. So within I have 2 data objects. I want to know how many days difference is there, how many months difference, how many years difference. So I want to know that. So generally, how do you do before Java 8?
very long process.
Yeah, yes, and that is right, right answer. But at least any idea? So you need to write your custom code. First, you look at the year. If there is a change in the year, no. Then you look at the month. So if the change in the month, then you look at the date, correct? So that means you have to start with a year, then go for year, month, then go for date. So likewise, you need to do. But in Java 8, there is a class called duration. Okay, duration. Duration. So in the duration class, here there is a class called duration. There is a method called between. See what this between method is taking two objects. Okay, and then it is returning duration. So duration dot between. Okay, what it say? I am passing d comma d1. D. Okay. Okay. D comma d1. And what it is returning? It is returning a duration object. So let me take it as a duration. Duration dur. Okay, done. Now here, let me do sysout. You want to know how many days. So if you do dur dot, look at here. So you can do 2 millis. That means it will give you the duration in the milliseconds. It will give the duration in the hours. It will give the duration in days. It will give the duration in months, seconds, everything. So that means easily by calling one method, you can get how many milliseconds, how many days, everything. So that is the advantage of this one. Okay, let's run this program. What is the issue? Unsupported temporal. Unsupported. Unit seconds. Okay, it requires a second, it seems. Let's run one again, once again.
Sir?
Yeah.
D and D1, no are input of the seconds and milliseconds. So difference is not calculated, I guess. You
Let's
calculate only days
D1.
and month and year.
Oh, I could not get you.
We are passing inputs without milliseconds. That's why we are.
No, that is by default it should take 0 zeros. So let us, instead of this one, local date time, let us take local date time. Okay. Local date time. Okay, done. Now local date time. Let me pass it here. R and minute. Let me put R is 01, minute is 01. And then I need to convert into the local date time. Let me try now. Yeah, 2 days. Let's run the program. Yeah, I get. Okay. So here, between these 2 days, 2 dates, around 27 dates is the difference. Now let me, instead of doing 31, let me put September. September, and let me put 26. What is the current time? I do not know whether it will take in the once, and let us try 26. Okay. Let us remove. Let us run the program. See, 1 day exact. Correct. The current time is 27/9/2022. I have given 26. So if you want to know the how many days difference between 2 dates, it is so easy. Just you have the 2 date objects and then you call duration dot between, you pass the dates. And then in this duration, you can also get this duration in terms of hours also. So 2 hours. Like earlier, I have shown you 2 days. That means it is giving you the number difference between 2 dates, date object in terms of dates. But now in terms of hours, I'll be getting. Look at here. Maybe it should give 24. See, it is giving 24. Now, if I want to seconds, then 24 multiplied by 60 should come, correct? 2 seconds. 24 by multiplied by 60. Can someone tell me how much is the calculation? Where? Because I haven't passed here dates, let me pass 30. Why am I getting this error? Get second. Okay. Why are we getting this error? The method 2 seconds is undefined for type duration. Okay, let us look at whether we have the 2 seconds here. There it is showing, but it is not. Yeah, it is not there in this one, guys. 2 seconds. Yeah, it is there. Internally, it is calling. Yeah, 2 seconds method is there. It is returning the big decimal. So it should call. Why it is not calling? Okay, instead of that, what we'll do is 2 millis we'll try. Yeah, it is giving a milliseconds. I'll look at it why it is not giving for the seconds. But so if you have the 2 date objects and if you want to compare and get the difference in terms of days, in terms of hours, in terms of seconds, in terms of milliseconds, this is how easily you can do it. Duration dot between. So when it comes to the interview, they will be asking like, what is a local date time? What is a local time? How can I get the current time by calling the now method? How can I create a local date object? Can I create a local date time object? You need to say no, because local date time class is having a private constructor. Now, how can I create a date object by date object of local date time or local time or local date? So by calling the off method, by passing the month, year, date, and time, you can call the local date time. You can create a local date time object. Now, what is the duration? Duration is nothing but in order to perform like not only between. There are in this duration method, there are so many utility methods are there. Using those utility methods, you can perform the many operations. So these are the most frequently asked questions, like how can I get the duration between 2 date objects in terms of hours? Then you can say that duration dot between. So in days means duration dot between only, duration dot get days or 2 days. So this is good. Now, so generally, whenever you are having a web-based application, how do you get a date object from the UI? Is it a string object or is it a date object, format?
String format.
String format, correct? Now, in your project, in your database, whenever you are storing the date of birth, will it be a string varchar or is it a date?
Date.
Date. So that means you need to know, you need to provide, you need to convert the string to the date, correct? So from the UI, you are getting a string. Now you need to convert the string into the date format and store it in the database. Yes or no?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So how do you do this before Java 8?
We use simple
You
date
need to pass the
format.
string to date.
Yeah, that is what I'm saying. I'm asking how.
We create Java SQL package date.
Okay. Java.sql.date object. Okay. How do you pass the month, year, and all? From the string, you need to extract like whatever the given string, you need to extract the month, year, and date, and then you pass it. And then sometimes local date dot get time will give you the time, correct? In a long format. If you are using a Java dot SQL dot date, let us look at here. Java dot SQL dot date object, right? Date class, see here. So here, see here in this, see by calling this constructor, you can say that you are creating a date object. That's right. But now generally, whenever you, in order to get sometimes, if you remember get time, this is the method will, or else get date. Yeah. There is another method called get time. Get date. So where this get date method is present? Yeah. So it is in the java.util. So from java.sql, it is internally going into the java.util. Okay. Now here you have a get time also. If you call get time method, it is returning a long object. So that means like even the date also, like you have a date format like month, year, date, and then followed by the number of hours, number of minutes. So you have 2 days. And if you are getting a get, if you are calling the get time, you will get a long argument. So that means like converting by calling the constructor, you can convert. But whenever you get the preferred date, you sometimes we call get time method, sometimes we call get date method. So we'll be confused. So, but using this local date time, you can easily convert that into the local date form, like string to date or date to string. You just need to use a local date time. There is a method called for parse. So let's go and use it. So local date dot parse. So parse, there is a method. This parse method is taking a character sequence. Look at here. Text followed by the date time formatter. So date, the second argument is date time formatter. You just create a date time formatter. Date time formatter D equal to sorry. Yeah, date time formatter. Look at, go to, you can look at this code. So by looking at this code, what you can get it is like whether you can create an object directly or you can call the predefined methods. So that's the reason every time I'm showing you the what you call source code. So here by calling the off pattern, there is a method called off pattern. Here you can mention what kind of a pattern you want. Okay, let me copy this one. Let me copy all this.
So it is a Java 8 feature or it is earlier?
It is the Java 8, yeah.
So similarly, there was some called class called simple date format.
Simple date formatter is already there in the Java. So from so long. So without Java 8, in order to get a formatter or something, what you do, you will use a simple date formatter, correct? But here, instead of the simple date formatter, what we use is, so under the java.time, there is a package called java.time. Using the java.time package, you can easily get work with a this time, date and time. Easily you can get the date, do the minus, you want to create a object, everything you can do it. So if you look at this date time formatter, this is not the simple date formatter. Look at here. It is present in which package? Java.time package. So this package itself is created newly for the Java 8. So sometimes I hope some of you guys are working for the US projects, correct? So can I say that Indian time, IST time is different from the UST time? In the US, we have the CDT and EST, correct? Central time and then Eastern time, right? Yeah. So there is a time zone difference. So whatever the given date, see, whatever the application that you are creating, that is used by the US citizens. So what will be the time zone? Either CDT or EST, correct?
Yes.
Different time zone. So whatever, even but the development is happening in the India. Okay, so whenever you provide the date here, what the date will be, whatever the date is coming, can I say that you need to convert into the CST time zone and then work it for the better understanding? Yes or no?
Yes.
Because currently, for example, if you look at what is the time, 9:30. if you look at the current time in the US, let me Google it. I'm just going into current time in EST. See 12:07 a.m. Let us take that we are 7 minutes back. So current time in India, assume that it is 9:30. Okay. Whenever the current time in India is 9:30, what is the date? 27. Now, if you look at the current time in India is 9:29. What is the time in the US? It will be 11:59, 26th. Hope you see what I'm trying to say. There is a difference of 1 day. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
See here, current time is 9:38. In US, what is the time? 12:07 a.m. It is a midnight. AM is nothing but a midnight. Okay. Now, let us go back 7 minutes back. If I go 7 minutes back, what is the current time in the India?
9:31.
9:31. And the date is?
27.
27.
Okay. Instead of 7 minutes, let us go back 8 minutes. If I
9:30.
go back 8 minutes, 9:30 a.m. and date is 27th September. Agree?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, if I go back on top of this date, if I go back 8 minutes back, what is the time?
It is
11:59.
11:59
It's a PM, correct?
PM.
Yes.
PM. And what is the date?
It is
26.
26th September.
26 September. Okay. Now, if this kind, see, whenever you're working in your project, you are working for, ideally you're working for a US based project. Assume that. Some of you are already working for a US based project. So if you're testing your application in the, by giving this date, 9:30 a.m. 27th September, what is your backend should consider? It should consider the CST time zone only, correct? Because whatever the application that you are developing, it is used by the US citizens, not the Indian citizens, correct? So that means even though you are working or you are developing in Indian hours, whatever the time zone you are getting, you have to convert that into the US time zone, then only you have to perform the calculations. Yes or no? Hope you get it, what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Others, hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So this is one exact difference wherever you are. See, for example, you have written one validation that at least 1 day gap should be there. So if this is a time, though, if you are looking at a CST time zone, if you are already present in the CST time zone, but if you are considering the IST time zone, there is the validation will be fired. But ideally, the validation should not fire. Correct?
Yes.
What? Yeah. So these are the some corner scenarios that would come into the when you're working in Indian timing. Whenever your application is getting tested, whether your UAT or QA is performing, these kind of issues will come. So that means whatever the time that is entered, in order to solve this problem, can I say that since this is application used by the US citizens, so their time zone will be either CDT or EST. So whatever whenever you are getting a date object from UI, you convert it doesn't matter whether it's a IST, GMT, anything. Since I'm in the India, I'm getting a IST. But if I go to Pakistan or if I go to some other Dubai or something, the time zone will be different. But wherever you access that application, since it is over the internet, what you need to do? You need to convert the date into the US time zone and then store it. That is the right way. Agree?
Yes, sir.
So is it possible in the Java before Java 8? It is little difficult, correct? How to the time zone, like you can change the time and all, but time zone you cannot do. So, but with a Java, what you call with Java 8, the time zone also will be, you can also mention what time zone you are having, you wanted. So in order to mention that in this date time formatter, so there's a date time formatter is there. So are you able to see some methods like see basic ISO date, local date time or ordinal date. So you have ISO zoned date and time. So by using this thing, you can pass what is the time zone you want. I'll give you the examples later. But what is the main usage of this date java.time package is, so if there is a change in the time zones, you want to convert the one time zone into another time zone. So before Java 8, it was very tedious. But with a Java 8 java.time package, it is easy. That is present in the Java date time formatter. In this class, there are some predefined methods are available. So look at if you do the control space, you have basic ISO date, ISO date and time. Okay. Now there is another thing called RFC, something like off localized date. Okay, I'll be telling you how to convert that and all little later. But
These are the constants. These are
yeah.
the constants.
Yeah, these are the what you call like constant values, which will have the, if I go to here, okay, let me, yeah, whoever is not speaking, please go on mute. Harsh Kumar, please don't unmute yourself. There is a background noise from you. Okay, so let me go to this duration. What is date time? Yeah, format. Under the format, you have date time formatter. In this date time formatter, to format a ISO chronology. So you see in the chronology, there is a separate package and date time formatter. In the date time formatter, see ISO basic date. So here with this one, see, this is a constant value. Okay, but with this also they are creating a new date time object builder. They are providing all the dates what they want, like year, 4, month, 2, something. So ISO date is nothing but see ISO local date. So they are already prepared whatever the value, like whatever can be passed, etc. Whenever you say GMT play 5:30, right? In the GMT there will be 5:30 option. So everything will be mentioned in this what you call constant values. So we can call these values and then we can set whatever the date we want. Okay, so that is the main usage of this java.time package. I'll give you the examples later. But if someone is asking in the interview, so they will be asking what is the duration class, what is the local date time, how can I get an object, and if I have a string to date conversion, how can I do? Let us look at string to date conversion. Let me copy this. And just removing this one. So here, let me remove this, not needed. So here, this is also not needed. See, I am providing the formatter. What is the format I want? I want the format of this one. Year, month, date, and then hours, minutes, and then seconds. Okay. Now, what is the date I want to pass from the UI? I'm getting the data is like this: 2020 December 11th 17:30, which is nothing but like 24 hours time zone. 17 is nothing but 12 plus 5, 5:30. Okay. Now I'm getting the local date time dot parse method. By calling the parse method, you can convert whatever the format, like given date time is a string object. This string object you can convert into the format that whatever you have given. Here you can give YY, MM, DD, anything. Okay, whatever the format that you want. Okay. Now let us look at this formatted date time. Okay, what happened? Date time parse exception. Okay. Okay, let me do only. Let me pass the seconds also. I think I have to pass the seconds. 30 to 23. Let's run it. Could not be parsed at index 19. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, let me remove this and try. So look at here. I got a date object now. See, what is this date? So that means from the string, you have converted into a local date time. Now I want only local date. I will pass the local date. I'll get the local date. Okay. Now I'll give the format only month. I don't give the time. Okay. Here also I don't pass the time. So there is a string. I'm converting that string into a date object by just calling the parse method. That's it. See, I got the date into, see, same date I got into the, see here it looks like a date same, but this is a string object. But what is this one? It's a local date time object. Okay. Hope you understood, guys. Any questions so far?
Sir, in this local date, do we have like option greater than one date is greater than another date like that? Do we have those predefined methods or?
Great. I mean, you wanted to convert, you wanted to, between two dates, you want to check whether it's a greater or less.
Which date is great?
Then you can use, by calling the plus method, you can validate, right? For the given date, you enter the plus date, right? Or you can get the difference, right?
Difference.
Yeah, duration dot between, you can use it, right? If the difference is 1, then you can say that those are 1 day apart, right?
Okay.
Hope you get what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
In old API, we can use before and after methods.
Yeah, before and after will give you some number, right? That, see, old, whatever the previous thing, that will be there. Like there are so many methods. When they are providing the new things, they don't remove the old things, right? Generally. I haven't checked it whether the compare method or there. See, compare to is already there. And then is after also there. Before also will be there. Like that means whatever the previous features will be there, those all things will be there. But extra, it will provide some more features, right? So that is what. Is after, is before. See, that is after means whatever the date that you passed, it will check whether it is after or before. A compare to also will be there. Like if you can compare two data objects, compare, yeah, compare to method is also there. So all these previous methods will be there as is, and then new methods will be added. Any other questions? Bharat, Bhuvanesh, Atul, anyone, any questions? Melvin, Liju?
No, sir. We are good.
Okay.
That's fine. Thank you.
Rambanu Davle, I can see it, you have joined from 2 devices, or is it from different person? Rambanu, have you joined from 2 devices?
Yes, sir. Actually, the voice is not coming up.
From the laptop.
I join with
So I
mobile,
joined with mobile
and
and laptop both.
Okay, fine. But generally 1 device is allowed. Just make sure that from next class. Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, Srivalli, Shesha, Sunil, Swati, any questions? Or hope you understand or you did not understand anything?
Yes, we understand. No questions.
No questions.
Yeah, Ritesh, yes, when we are converting the string to the date, we can convert the date to string also. And format also, whatever we are. We just need to provide the format. That's it.
How to
I'll give you.
convert, sir?
Yeah, I'll explain that. Okay. Anything else? So far,
No, sir.
doubts? Yeah. Okay. So now, okay. So I have a meeting today. I have my office meeting. So I'll be wrapping the class early today. Like I'll be closing the class now. So tomorrow we have some other like parallel stream, and then for each method, for each ordered method, reduce method, and then method reference, right? So tomorrow we'll have a class for some more longer time, in which we are going to discuss about the interview questions and then these topics. Okay, so I'll be covering the leftover topics and I'll be discussing the interview questions as well. So I request you all to please come prepared. So like whatever we have discussed so far, there are some questions I have written. You guys are providing the answers. And once that is done, we are going to look at the uncovered topics. Okay. And Thursday will be holiday, guys. And Friday we'll start with a Java 9. And it is not like by tomorrow you need to ask the questions. So till the last day of this class, like whether I'm discussing Java 9, whether I'm discussing Java 11, doesn't matter. So whichever the doubt that you have pertains to this Java 8, 9, 11, you can ask me anytime. And if you are going for interview, if you are able to answer, well and good. If you are not able to answer, put that question back. I'll let you know the answer. Just try from your end. If still you are not getting, you can ask me I can explain. Okay. So I request you all to please come prepared tomorrow, and then we'll look at the questions. Any clarity, or is it fine? Whatever I told, do you guys understand?
Sir?
Do you guys understand what did I say?
Yes, Kamlesh.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And please go through the notes also. And I have shared the programs also. Please go through them. Okay. Notes, I have mentioned the notes very clear, like why, whenever I'm explaining you, it feels like you understood it, but later you may miss it, right? So that's the reason I have written the notes also. Only some smallest, second smallest program, first largest program, those I haven't written. I will also be writing that over the weekend. I will share the updated notes again, like whenever you want, maybe after 6 months also you can refer it. Okay. I'll be sharing the updated notes later, but for the tomorrow's class, please come prepared so that you can test your skills. Whatever you learned, are you able to answer it or not? Okay. If no question, that's all for today, guys. Due to my office meeting, I have to wrap up the class early. Thank you, guys. Thanks for joining. Have a nice day.
Thank you.